Another question, Melissa, to go in a little bit of a different direction, because when I'm sitting in hearing the stories that you share, you have an incredible gift of storytelling, especially for things that can be highly, highly technical. And you can very and there's a lot of detail around it. And so I think that the question becomes, how did you develop that gift of storytelling? And for engineering leaders who want to better develop that skill and to be able to share some of the and advocate for the projects that they're working on for adoption, what would your advice be for both how to acquire storytelling skills and to become a better engineering storyteller?
I will try to answer that, but as with many things, what I will be answering is from me personally, so it may not resonate with everybody. One is, I think, recognizing the value at all. Engineers, but especially in Silicon Valley, tend to see code and engineering as the solution to every problem out there. And recognizing that the human element matters, storytelling matters, marketing, it's a four-letter word, but it still matters. And not dismissing those as ways of getting things done. Um, I sometimes get asked what publications I read to keep up to speed on my job, and the answer is I don't. I read fiction in my spare time. I need to disconnect from work, and I suppose that may also help sort of me keep in cadence with storytelling. Some of it may just be personality, right? Maybe, it's if you're just not a storyteller, it's attaching to someone else. I suspect taking improv classes or doing something like that would be helpful, because then you're, um, learning to construct things, especially on the fly. I do a lot of practicing. So this is why, Jerry's question of, something else, I realized this framing that we're discussing here isn't something that I've often framed. So I don't have an answer to this because I haven't thought in this framing before. Can guarantee like a year from now I'd be able to answer Jerry's question really quickly. And I'll probably start saying it more often, but somebody's just practicing. Apollo didn't spring from the ground. Our recruiting pitches didn't, they weren't perfect on day one. When I was at Google, I felt like I was terrible at writing presentations. And I was working with an exec coach, and she said, "Okay, well, who writes good presentations?" And I named a fellow down in Australia who I worked with. She goes, "Okay, how long do you think it took him to write that?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to sandbag here." And I said, 2 months. She was like, "Okay, why don't you go ask him?" I asked him, 6 years. And that was such a in your face realization that we see the end of everyone else's journeys. And if we get any stories, we hear the highlights and realizing that everything goes through way more evolutions and we shouldn't give up on ourselves just because we're early on in that. Apollo had a lot of places to fail. It succeeded. Was it my incredible brilliance? Was it perfect timing? Was it luck? It was some combination of the three. Um, and Rick Dalzell not firing me when I lied to him about when it would launch.
I think as a student of storytelling, one thing I wanted to point out as you've shared throughout this whole conversation, Melissa, is that almost every point or every insight that you've shared with us has been laced with like a really powerful personal story, and it's made it so that that point really resonates, and that I've integrated it almost immediately. And so, like one thing I just in my observation is your ability to link stories to those key moments or insights is really really well done and artfully done. So, as an admirer and student of storytelling, I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's great.